Alright, I didn't think I would do an industry insight piece so soon after our last one, but it turns out that bad news just keeps rolling downhill in a matter of speaking. The last time, or yesterday by the time you're watching this video, we learned that Visceral Games is going under and being terminated by EA. But as of the same day, or maybe even a few hours after that announcement, there is some very interesting news out of Activision. It was revealed that Activision got the approval for a patent that they filed back in 2015, and this one is certainly a doozy. The patent is for basically a way of encouraging or enticing microtransactions out of players, which it's kind of a weird patent when you think about it, but the details are kind of troubling for gamers to say the least. We'll include a link to it in the description below, but to make a long story short, the patent details ways of manipulating players to get them to spend money on in-game microtransactions. One of the big ways, and probably one of the most glaring examples, is how matchmaking can be tuned. Basically, the idea is, instead of matching people up in terms of relative skill, the idea that Activision had with the patent is essentially to explicitly match people up against other, basically mix the pool up between people who have bought microtransactions and those that don't. According to the description or the patent, they use the term marquee players to describe those who have spent money. And the idea is basically to convince people to spend money out of being overpowered. As in, if I'm fighting someone who has better gear than me, well, I should spend money and get better gear to compensate. And I was talking about this on the Discord channel. All I could say when I saw that news piece was just repeating the word no repeatedly. And the reason is that this is a very serious discussion when it comes to competitive and free-to-play design. In previous talks, we've brought up the discussion about balance when it comes to competitive-based games. And when it comes to the esports side of things, most competitive players do not like to muddy the waters, in a matter of speaking. Either everything should be made available to everyone, or any kind of microtransactions or in-game bonuses should be turned off. This is why typically for many fighting game tournaments, any kind of persistent elements or in-game bonuses will usually be disabled in favor of just vanilla character versus vanilla character. And we've talked about this kind of balance when it comes to free-to-play and pay-to-win design before. And this is kind of a very big danger to that talk. The reason is that typically you don't want free-to-play and paying players to mix with each other because of the very fact that it is an imbalanced experience. And the difference in that experience depends heavily on the design or explicitly the monetization aspects of the game. In a title like League of Legends, for instance, when you're spending money, the majority of it will be on either cosmetics or champions that everyone will eventually get access to. So there is that inclination to spend money if you want to get better at a game like that. But it's not the same case as, say, if I don't buy this champion, someone who bought this champion gets 10% more stat bonuses compared to me. And a very important part about this is, of course, the LO matchmaking. The whole idea is that players of relative skill, or in this case, relative upgrades, should be matched together to create a balanced experience. It's not right to put someone who hasn't spent 1 cent in the same match as someone who's put, who knows, 100, 200, 300 plus dollars into a game. Because obviously it is incredibly imbalanced like that. And it goes to this extreme of basically no matter how great you are at the game, if this guy over here has plus level 10 weapons and unique skills, well, there's not much a pro player can do against that. And this goes back to our discussion about where is that line of pay to win. And in our previous talk, just to reiterate, I brought up the fact that in my opinion, a game becomes pay to win when a player can buy exclusive game-changing advantages with only real money. As in, if I have a specific weapon, or by spending money I can unlock like a VIP status or bonus power-ups or something that you cannot get unless you spend money, then it's considered pay to win. Otherwise, we could call it, pay to be less annoying, or pay to ease the frustration, or we'll have to come with a cleverer title than that. But getting back to the topic at hand, this does raise some serious questions. Now, as of right now with this video being recorded, it's only been a few days since this patent was approved. So in terms of, turning around seeing all of Activision's catalog going this route, probably isn't going to happen. But this does raise some serious concerns regarding upcoming games. Obviously the next Call of Duty, Star Wars Battlefront 2, which we talked about in terms of its loot box design, and so on. And I'm not quite sure how to think about this. And again, if I ask the question of what do you guys think, I think we all know what the answer is going to be. But typically when it comes to this kind of gameplay or this kind of balance, you don't want everyone to be interacting like this. You want to keep people who have spent the money away from those that don't. Unless, of course, we're dealing with examples like Team Fortress or League of Legends or even Overwatch, where money is simply used for either cosmetic items or side grades. As in, equipment that doesn't inherently make your character better, but may only enhance something while hurting another part of it. So it's not like the case of, I'm equipping gloves, a sword, and a helmet, and now I'm automatically 40% better than someone who doesn't have that. And when it comes to this kind of microtransaction, again, we could easily segue into our previous talk about loot box design. But all this just seems to add up to more and more trouble for the consumer, and for publishers, for them, more and more money, which hopefully doesn't come to pass. Now, I guess we're going to wrap up this industry insight a little bit quickly, but to throw in a 2-for-1 special, I wanted to touch on this in case this becomes 3 days of industry insights in a row. But it was also announced from GameStop that in the next Assassin's Creed game, there's literally going to be a mission that you can only get by pre-ordering. And their campaign, or their ad campaign, is as black and white as it can be. It literally says, this mission is locked unless you pre-order. And that is another dangerous precedent to set, because usually pre-order bonuses will become unlocked over time, or will be sold as a separate purchase later on, like they did with Borderlands. But to literally say, you can't have this unless you give us money early, and explicitly give us money to GameStop, is a very bad decision. Because as we all know, if there's one thing stores like, it's exclusive pre-order bonuses, as we've seen with many AAA games over the years, that you can buy it from Best Buy and get this, or buy it from Amazon, or Newegg, or GameStop, and I'm sure there's some West Coast equivalent for you folks, or international. But this is definitely not good. You don't want to explicitly lock content like this behind a paywall, especially when it's seen as, or it can be viewed as, you're holding it hostage. Someone's already spending $60 or even more if there's a collector's edition. Putting this around or putting this on top of that just seems like another stab in the back. And again, I'm sure everyone watching this video is in complete support of it and will rush out tomorrow and pre-order Assassin's Creed or Assassin's Creed Origins. But that's all I wanted to say for today, so thank you so much for watching today's Industry Insight. Be sure to come back for more great discussions on game design here and on Game Wisdom, where we examine the art and science of games. Until next time, have a good night. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Check back around 10 Eastern for regular streaming. If you'd like to suggest games for me to cover or topics to talk about, let me know in the comments below. For a collection of my writings as well as weekly podcasts on design, check out game-wisdom.com. To support the Game Wisdom Patreon, you can find us on there on patreon.com/gwbycer. $1 will get you into our private Discord channel where we talk game topics and more. $5 will get you voting privileges for any major event, including the Saturday Night Grab Bag, Patreon-funded goals, and more. Thanks again for watching, and I hope you enjoy more videos here on the Game Wisdom YouTube channel.